Now, come on. I know I paid my bill. This ain't like last time. Adam, you there? Hey, can you hear
Huh?
me?
What?
Adam, we got to do a
What?
screenplay, man. I told you, you had to be on call for this. You knew. Don't give me that I'm asleep bit.
Huh? I'm on Galatea, man. It's like 3 a.m. here.
I told you that's what's going to happen when you start following those Canopian cat girls out to bars. Before you know it, you're going to wind up in the periphery missing a kidney with a set of cat ears. So you're
Just,
on
just,
call.
okay, let's just
So
go to the video. Just,
let's go to the video. What are we doing today? We're doing the Mechwarrior 2 Mercenaries intro. Get your butt into the theater.
all right, let's go. Activision.
The classic.
Team Venom, this is Top Ship Command. ETA on planet is 40 seconds. I'm going to be a sitting duck down there, so you damn well better be at the dust-off site when I get there. You get the stuff?
I misinterpreted this guy's line here.
Roger, Dropship Command. I got the recon data and one piss off Atlas on my tail.
Get that data back to the ship now!
I didn't know he was saying one pissed off Atlas on my tail.
I'll take this Draconis scumbag.
Ooh,
Damn! Eat this!
Okay,
Ow.
so far what I'm seeing is totally possible. Lucky,
Thanks,
possible.
What? Ah!
ouch.
Oh,
DC catapult on the rise.
would definitely sting.
Dropship Command here. My weapon systems are down. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Negative! I need more
You're
time!
out of time. I'm not getting paid enough to die. Secure
That's
the
cold-blooded. No matter who you are, I don't care where you're from. First time I saw this, I was like, damn.
There's still room in hell for your sorry carcass.
Eject.
You can't punch out in a oof environment like best line.
Look at the bright side, kid. You get to keep all the money.
Oh, yeah.
All right, pound for pound, bar none, I still think that the Mechwarrior 2 Mercenaries intro is probably one of the top intros in the entire franchise. I know that technologically they may have gotten better graphics later on. Let's not forget the Mechwarrior 4 intro. Fantastic stuff. But when it comes to action, when it comes to all the story elements being present in this very short clip, and everything that you need to know about the situation being spelled out to you without ever having to have some kind of news broadcast, a news ticker at the bottom, some sort of expository dialogue to fill you in. No, you are, boom, right there in the action from word go. That's why I think this is probably takes my top spot for best intro of the franchise. What do you
I
think
mean,
on it?
I'm still a sucker for MechWarrior 3's intro, but I mean, this
I
has
do
got
love
to
it.
be this has got to be high up there. You know, number 2 or number 3. It's like having like one of those short stories at the beginning of one of the rule books or something. One of those stories that's like one page or 3/4 of a page. You get the whole story, and the length of that video is what, less than 2 minutes, and yet it tells an entire story.
Yeah, it's 1 minute 39 seconds, and you get all the elements. I mean, even right there at the end, if you didn't know what the name of the game was and you were just watching that video and you knew a little bit about BattleTech anyway, you could go, well, who are these guys? And then you hear that dude at the dropship captain, you get to keep all the money. Oh, they're mercenaries. Even the tiniest details don't have to be spelled out for you in some ancillary fashion. Every element is just firing on all cylinders from the moment it starts to the moment it ends.
Oh, yeah, there's no wasted time in that. And it's exciting because, I mean, you're following that commando. Is he going to get to the drop ship once he gets in? And, you know, you see the doors start closing on the Zeus. Oh, man.
So let's talk about the first issue, the first thing that happens, because this is kind of a kill light video. There's only, one real, or no, 2 deaths that we see on screen here. We see Colonel Holly Harris and the Atlas pilot go down. So let's talk about that exchange. First off, we have the Atlas. She takes it right in the chest, and off comes the arm. Okay, that when the arm flies off, you hear the rat-a-tat-tat of the autocannon there in the background. So we know, probably at least from our context clues, that's the autocannon 20, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they have it in like maybe the arm. It's so hard to tell.
Well,
But
the Atlas is mounted in the side torso, so and I think that's where it comes from. When I look back at it, let's take a look and see if I can't judge where that stream of bullets is coming from here. So she's
it looks
going to
like
shoot him.
Flash is coming from the arm, but the bullets might be coming from the torso. There's like
Yeah, I can see it
it.
in from the torso. So I'm
Okay.
going to assume that's the AC-20. Now we know that the Zeus, whichever iteration of it you're piloting, has more than 20 points to take it off. So if you were to go from fresh to gone, you would need more than that. But in order to make this happen, I don't think that it's that untoward, or you don't have to say something like, well, maybe there was pre-existing damage. I think this is as easy as we're playing with floating criticals. You roll a snake eyes on your hit location. Now you've got to figure out where that critical is going to land. It lands in the arm. Okay. And you know you've scored a critical hit. Then you roll 12 for crits. Boom. Off comes the arm. Now, does it take a Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events to get to that point? Well, yeah. But I don't think that it's as uncommon as it might seem on the surface that the arm could just get...
It's possible. I mean, story-wise, with them being mercenaries, I wouldn't bat an eye if, they had been fighting for a while and there was some pre-existing damage. And I see a little bit of green in there, so maybe he also fired like his medium lasers or something. So
something hit the Zeus right before all of this takes place. But I feel like falling back on there was pre-existing damage is almost the same as saying, well, then that's movie magic, because you wouldn't have any way to know that. And I suppose what I look for when I look at these is, could this happen if this machine was either fresh, if it appears as though it is, or if there was shown some kind of damage on it? I'd say, okay, well, let's take it in that condition. But this Zeus, I should say, looks pristine, and so does the Atlas. And I try to look at them from that perspective. Could this happen if all of these machines were factory new and still had the new mech smell on the inside of the cockpit and had one of those, tree thingies hanging up in there? And I think that without pre-existing damage, I feel like the floating critical can do it. But do you feel like that's far too unlikely, or do you feel like there's some better explanation than that?
I mean, if you're going to go with their pristine mechs, then rolling a hit, scoring a critical on it, and blowing off the arm is probably your best bet. Because I don't think there's no ammo in that arm, so
Nope.
It's really your best bet is that he just got real lucky and got the crit and rolled the 12 on the the crit chance and just took the whole arm off. And
the funny thing I think about this Atlas is, out of that left arm, or not Atlas, I keep saying Atlas because that's what she's firing at, the Zeus. It seems as though there's some kind of laser coming out of that arm, and that should be an autocannon, because the right arm should have an LRM-15 in it. But in this instance, you'll notice she fires the autocannon out of her right arm, and some kind of burst, like energy weapon, presumably, out of the other one. So I'm wondering what version of Zeus this might be. Because, see, I knew the ZEU-6T had a particle cannon in the left arm. And even though it was like, pew, pew, like rapid fire, I said, okay, well, I might be able to stretch something there. But then that autocannon being in the right arm, I don't think there's going to be any Zeus that is stock that's going to look like that. So I'm going to have to assume at this point, as I'm just browsing through the different kinds here, that she's piloting some sort of custom version of it.
Yeah, because she does lift up, because that is the autocannon arm that goes. Is the arm that went should be the autocannon arm, and then she lifts up with the missile arm. But
yes,
it looks like
instead an autocannon comes out of it.
Yeah.
So there's something there.
I mean, some kind of custom variant, if you don't count it as animation error.
You can
But-
listen to the sound of this autocannon, the one that she fires at the Atlas, and that sounds different than the autocannon that the Atlas fired at her. So I'm going to guess that what Colonel Holly Harris fired here was an Ultra 5 cannon, because you had access to that kind of thing in this game. But even if it were just a standard cannon, okay, what would you have to do to take that Atlas down like that? From just a shot like that?
Ammo crit, man. Through armor. Again, if you're assuming no pre-existing damage,
Right.
I mean, with all the armor that's on an Atlas, through armor critical, boom, ammo bin.
Well, you have ammo in the right torso, the AC ammo, and you have the left torso, which has got missile ammo in it. I don't know. That's tough, because if that's what has to happen, it would just be an amazing exchange between the two of them, dice rolling wise. Oh my god, the crazy stuff. And I'm not saying I haven't seen crazy stuff like that happen, but I guess if you were gonna do it, she's coming at him from the front, right?
Yeah.
So, she shoots him right dead center in the chest, not like she's shooting him from the right or the left here. And yeah, you see the fire, where the shells hit, right there in the middle of the chest. So, and then the explosion comes down here in the right torso. That's where it seems to emanate from. Let me replay it real fast. Yeah, you can see it all happening right over there.
Yeah,
so that's got to be some kind of ammunition explosion.
Yeah,
it's all happening on the right side. The big explosions.
It definitely looks like it starts right smack dab on the upper center torso and then kind of spreads over to the right torso and then just boom. So I'm not sure how that would work.
Again, I don't like falling back on lucky critical every time something happens. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, is that possible? Sure. But I mean, how likely are we talking about?
Yeah, you're talking about two really, uncommon rolls, one right after the other. Can it happen? Yes. Does it happen regularly?
No. See, I usually say that something is either like possible or movie magic. But I think in this case, this is going to warrant something that's kind of like in between, where I say it's plausible, but it's not likely.
Yeah, I mean,
could it
technically
happen?
Possible,
sure.
But
howsoever, what I will say is this: that fact alone does not take away any of the cool factor of watching this scene unfold as she blows him away, and the commando is able to make his escape here.
Yeah, and
the sparks flying off of the commando's cockpit here would be definitely what you would expect if you got hit by anything in a commando.
Yeah.
And we get to Holly here, and I don't necessarily know that there's a whole lot to say about this, because we have the catapult fire, and then we have something else shoot at her from off screen. We have no idea what that was, because all we knew about this before is there was an Atlas and a catapult.
Mm-hmm.
And the Atlas was taken care of. And then she's being fired at by something else from off the screen. So, I mean, I suppose the plausibility of that isn't exactly up for debate.
Yeah, I mean, it could be almost anything. It's something that's coming in indirectly or just off screen that we can't see. Something hit him hard, because you have a drop ship coming down, sitting down, and within seconds he says his weapon systems are offline.
Yeah.
So
he's got to go.
Yeah, like smaller spheroid drop ships are just covered in weapons and armor. So
I'm actually kind of fortunate, because this video is a scenario that I actually have played out on the tabletop with as similar terrain as I could possibly think of, to see whether or not I could replicate the result. And to the video's credit, the scenario as run on tabletop turned out exactly like that. I don't think I killed the Atlas. I may have, I may not have. But the end result was exactly the same. Is the Zeus got wrecked and the commando made it out alive. So that, at the very least, I can say is accurate.
Yeah.
Because I've done it.
And this is one of the reasons this is my favorite, because it's Battle of Tukiyid.
That's right, Battle of Tukiyid. Alright, so off the gate, Vulture. Now, I always wondered what this was shooting at him. Is this power armor or just a really small light mech? Whatever it is, it goes down really fast. There goes the catapult.
I think it's a commando.
Huh, really tiny commando. And off comes the torso, yep.
And then,
This is such a cool visual. Those mechs walking through. Catapult.
And here come the assaults.
We've got ourselves a Timberwolf and a Kodiak. Two biggins take the Timberwolf and the Yak, no problem. And Zeus goes down. Yeah, that Mad Cat, Mauler's had enough. And down goes the Yak with a big explosion. Iconic. Okay. Again, that's another one of those sequences where everything is told to you. It's all there without having to have some kind of ancillary explanation. It's just you have the little subtitle at the beginning and boom, you're thrown right in again. So let's talk about this. We get the Vulture out of the gate here, and you said you think this is a commando?
I think so. I mean, it kind of looks like one. It's either maybe out of scale or far away, and the camera angle makes it look small. I'm guessing just from the shape.
We're gonna call that a commando then, I guess. Which, I mean, a Vulture destroying that thing, it is not that difficult to imagine with a few pulse laser bursts. The thing has what, 3 tons of armor?
Yeah, I
Maybe.
mean, if it's a 30-25 commando, that's totally doable.
So we'll give him a pass, mainly just because I can't tell what the hell that thing is. The catapult, now in the video game, what he just did was possible. You could shoot the heads off of those things at 100 yards like you was Annie Oakley, just because they had the prominent cockpit.
Yeah.
And in Battletech, that translates into the Quirk weak head armor, which leaves them like short 1 point of armor in the head. I'm calling that movie magic. I don't know. What do you think? I think that to blast that guy on a full run like that and make it look like just a hot knife through butter. I mean, yeah, you'd have to hit the head several times with these missiles to make that happen.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he did shoot 2 Clan LRM-20s at him and maybe some lasers. So
I think it was just a missile shot, but like the only time I've ever done that I can remember is when we were out in Fayetteville and I rolled 2 sets of dice and they all came up 6s and I said Yahtzee. That's like the only time I've ever done that. Yeah. So, I mean, is it technically possible? I mean, but the odds against are so ridiculous at that point that I feel like the fact that I got that on camera is the only way I can prove that it ever happened. Because it is so rare. And so I don't know. If you want to call it possible, that's cool. My vote would be movie magic.
Well, I say it's possible, but very highly unlikely.
Now, speaking of highly unlikely, this separation of torso from legs here. Yeah, that's movie magic. I don't think
there's any rules for blowing the mech in half like that. So
no. So, okay, we come upon the main skirmish here. Now, there's a couple of things I like about this. The first is the Kodiak and the Timberwolf here both let loose a barrage of their classic missiles, and the mechs take it. The Mauler and the Atlas have no problem. The Zeus, here he goes. Boom. We're looking at some kind of ammo explosion until the Atlas releases his super bomb that would paralyze a moose and just knocks this dude's dick in the dirt like it was nothing. That's movie magic, man.
Yeah.
What on earth did you shoot him with? All the fucking autocannons that they made at the fucking Yori Mechworks plant. Jesus, you think you got him?
Somebody put a long Tom artillery piece on that Atlas, apparently, because it's just boom, screw you.
It's so comedic because his arms just go flailing around. Like his legs just go flying off. Like this thing was just stuck in front of a train or something. And it looks like maybe the catapult might have fired at that Mad Cat too. I can see the torso turn, and that was a double missile shot from the catapult and the Atlas to take down that Mad Cat. That was the super bomb. I just noticed it. I played this game umpteen times. I just now noticed that. See, because I can also see what looks like an autocannon shell coming from the Atlas toward that Mad Cat, and then I see several bursts of smoke coming from the Atlas, which makes me think it's just sitting there going douche, 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 firing that autocannon. I don't know. Because I'm analyzing this so closely now, I'm seeing things about it that my brain just totally glossed over the first time I watched it because I wasn't exactly looking for how these things were being done. All that mattered to me was the end result. Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool visual, but
definitely. Nothing against it at all. I love this dearly with all of my nerdy little heart, but that, yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Okay, and the Mauler, and he looks like he's starting to lean down before, he's even ready, so he may have just given up. But anyway, he explodes in the chest here, and then he falls flat on his face. I mean, what could we be looking at there? We know he carries LRM ammo in his side torsos, right?
Yep, and AC2s.
And he's got autocannons, and the autocannons are located in the torso, if I don't miss my guess, with the ER larges on either side in the arms.
Yep.
So, okay, I mean, we do know that the Kodiak shot him previously. That mech, we don't have to stretch the truth this time to say that this mech had pre-existing damage on it because we saw it, so we know this thing has been shot before. And I don't think it's that unreasonable for the Kodiak to unleash a barrage on it that would be able to either pop its engine or mess up his gyro.
Yeah.
And you hear the autocannon too. You can hear it and you can see it going toward that Mauler. You can watch the bullets. So yeah, he definitely autocannoned the ever-loving shit out of that thing. And in the original meeting between the two of them, if you watch, the missiles from the Kodiak fly out and smack that guy right in the chest. So later on, just a few frames later, when he puts the autocannon on him, I don't see this as even needing any kind of special snowflake explanation. I feel like this is just plain old brute force at work, and you could replicate this result on the tabletop.
Oh yeah, especially since that's an Ultra AC-20. If he hit you with both blasts from that,
you're in trouble.
It's, ow.
And then we'll move on to the Atlas and catapult number 2 gangbanging this guy with the missiles, and he explodes out the chest. So I don't see or hear any other weapons fire, but, we know that they were being shot at.
Yeah, and presumably, during that first little exchange, maybe the catapult fired on him too.
We'll see, because we see as they're walking toward it, the Zeus and the catapult are firing their lasers. They're just like pistols firing the whole way. So ammunition explosion, yes. That's totally possible, especially because I have a feeling that everybody was firing at that yak. You got the Mauler, you got the catapult, and the Zeus. The Zeus and the catapult are demonstrably shooting at that thing. I can't tell yet whether or not the Mauler was shooting at it, but you only see the catapult turn away from that target right there at the last moment to dump some missiles on it with his buddy in the Atlas.
Yeah.
And then presumably turns his attention back toward... So I do understand that inner sphere mechs aren't as good as clanners, but when you've got that many of them firing at you, I mean, You cannot change the laws of physics, Jim.
Well, 4-on-2 is always going to be a little rough. And when you've got, they're all assaults except the catapult.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a lot of firepower to be throwing down range right there in a short time. Because, I mean, the catapult's got 2 LRM-15s. The Mauler has 15s or 20s.
15 racks.
15s, yeah. And all those AC2s. The Zeus has got its 15. And then the Rent-A-Nuke or whatever the hell the Atlas had. So, yeah, I mean, you could... Even clan mechs are going to drop real quick, and this does not look like it's at very long range.
Oh, God, no. You'd be one hex away at most in this scenario. In fact, it's probably, if you were looking at this on the tabletop, that would probably just be base-to-base contact. Point blank.
Or very close to it, yeah. So,
I don't think there was 30 meters in between them. So
it is a cool... The about face of it's pretty cool, too, because, they build up that vulture at the beginning. Oh, he nukes the whatever the hell, we'll just say commando. Step over his carcass and then walk by the burning remains of the catapult. He runs it around the corner and, and then, they tap him. Then, the mechs come around the corner and there's the clan mechs.
And then there's such a sick visual. Like the mechs stepping up from over the carcass of the vulture, and then we move right toward it, ground level, toward the clan mechs.
Yeah, and they both do it. So it's such a cool little visual story, and to just see like the meat grinder that Tukid was. Because out of all that, you have what, one survivor?
Yeah, well, yeah, the Atlas... No, the Catapult and the Atlas, I think, live. It's just that the Atlas is what they focus on the most.
So out of, 6 Inner Sphere mechs, there were 2 survivors.
You get the Vulture, the Timberwolf, and the Kodiak. And then on the other side, you got the Zeus, the Mauler, the Atlas, and the Catapult, right?
Mm-hmm. And then the other catapult that was lost, and
then the other catapult,
and the whatever it was, we're saying commando.
Yep. So that's 6, and so for them to only have 3 machines, the Timberwolf, the Vulture, and the Kodiak, and to go up against 6 Inner Sphere mech, that's also a pretty cool thing, and that would have been made at the time when people were doing that, so that seems very natural too.
Just a cool show of, the Inner Sphere losing, and then just how much of a turnaround Tukid was.
All right. Suppose I've kept you here long enough, but listen, next time I tell you about them Catgirls...
Hey, whoa, that's no more about the what Catgirls? I don't know anything about any Catgirls.
Get some sleep. And I mean sleep. Anyways, Battletech fans, if you like what you've seen so far, do us a big favor, hit that subscribe bell down there and turn on all notifications so you can find out exactly where Battlebound is going to turn up next. And don't forget to subscribe to our buddy, Dream Made Productions, right over here to my left, and see what they've got cooking over there. I'm Tuck Davian for my partner, Adam Thomas. We'll see you next time right here on the Space Lane.
Be sure to smash our like button and subscribe to our channel.
Crowdfunding is when lots of people give you small amounts of money to help your passion project come to life.